Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs, and today we are going to be making our second diamond this month, and this is the Hibiscus diamond, and it'll look like this. Isn't that cool? So we're going to get started on that. Alright, so we are going to start out. I'm going to use this light green for the border, and I know I have dark green on there, but I'm changing the color. So we're going to chain 2, and then in the second chain from the hook we're going to put a single crochet and 2 half double crochets in there, and that is the falling leaf stitch, and one falling leaf stitch is one square or one block. So this is the first row, which consists of one block. So there that is. So row 2, chain 2 and turn, and in the second chain from the hook again we are going to make our falling leaf stitch in there, and then we are going to skip the next 2 stitches, because you can see there's 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip the next 2, and in the third one we're going to put the falling leaf stitch in there and make another block, which that is a single crochet. Now every time you'll be skipping over those doubles. You will never go in a double crochet in this project. You will always work in the singles. So this is row 2, and it consists of 2 blocks. Alright, so row 3 we're going to chain 2 and turn. We will be doing this all the way up to 25 rows, chain 2 and turning, and creating our first block in that second chain from the hook. So we're going to be doing that from now on. Alright, and we'll always start with this green and end with this green. Okay, we're going to change colors, and I am going to, we need blue. So whatever blue you're using, I'm using this one. Or whatever background color you're using. If you don't want blue, you can use a different background color. Alright, so blue, this blue is my background color. So this second one, I skipped 2 stitches, and in the next single, I skipped the 2 doubles. In the next single, I made a blue square. Okay, and I carried this green with me so that I can change back to that green, and skipping the next 2 and going into this last stitch right here, which is a single crochet. We are going to put a block in there with the green, and that is row 3, and we have 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3. And row 4 will have 4 blocks, row 5 will have 5 blocks, so and so forth. So it'll go up by 1 every time. Alright, so we're going to chain 2 and turn for row 4, and in row 4 we're going to start out with the green square as usual, and then we're going to switch over. We need to switch over to this blue, and we need to put 2 blue in between the greens. So our next stitch will be blue. Our next square will be blue, not stitch. And then the next one is also blue. And I'm carrying that green with me. And then I'm going to switch over to the green and make this last stitch green up here. There it is. All right, so you're going to be doing this for the next 8 rows, or the next, not 8 rows, we did 4, we got 4 more rows to do. So you're just going to keep doing this, increasing this blue. The next row will be green, 3 blue, green. The next row will be green, 4 blue, green, so and so forth until you get to row 8. You'll have green and 6 blue and a green. Okay, so I'm going to do mine off camera, and I will meet you at row 9. All right, so we've got 8 rows, and you should have 1 green and 6 blue and a green. So that's 8 blocks. All right, so now row 9, we're going to chain 2 and turn. And then we'll create our first screen block, and then we need to go to the blue. And we need to put 5 blue in here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we need to switch over to a dark green. And then we are carrying our blue with us and our light green with us. So this next one is this dark green. All right, and we're just going to leave that behind. And then we need the blue. So 1 blue and 1 light green that we've been using on this border. And then we'll be done. That's the end of the row. So that should look like there's row 9 there. Okay, so now row 10, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting out with our light green as usual. And then going over to our blue. And we need the 1 blue. Alright, and then we need our dark green again. So we're going to switch over to that. And now we need 2 dark green. We're bringing this blue with us and that light green with us. So there's 1. And 2. And now we need this blue. And now we just need 5 blue and a light green, and that's going to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to switch over to the green and finish it off with that. So row 10 should have 10 blocks in it. Okay, and that's what it should look like. All right, now let's mark off row 9 and 10. And go to row 11, and we are going to chain 2 and turn, and then start out with our green in that second chain from the hook. And then go over to our blue, we are needing 5 blue again while I'm carrying this light green with me. So there's 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, and now we need our dark green. Yeah, those do come forward. All right, so the next one is dark green. And then the next one is light green. So we have dark green, light green, and dark green is what this is going to be. And then here's the dark green. And then we're going to need a blue and a light green to finish this off. And there's row 11. And that's what it looks like. All right, so row 12, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting our first square in that second chain from the hook. Now we need to switch over to blue, and we need to put 1 blue in. And then we're going to switch over to the dark green, and this time we're going to do one dark green, two light green, and one dark green. Now this is the leaf of the hibiscus. Alright, so there's one dark green. I'll leave that there. We need light green this way. And then here's the two light green. And then we're going to switch back over to the dark green. And then we're going to switch over to, we'll leave that dark green there. We don't need that anymore. We're going to switch over to the blue, and we need 5 blue and 1 light green, and that's going to finish off this row. So there's 4, and here's 5. And then we're going to finish it off with a light green at the end here. And that is row 12. And that's what it should look like. So we've got the leaf going here. Alright, so let's mark off those 2 rows. 11 and 12 is done. And we'll go on to 13. So we're going to chain 2 and turn. And as usual, we're going to start off with our green, and then go over to the blue, and we're going to need 6 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So then now we need to bring our dark green out. The next one is dark green, so we need our next 3 stitches, our next 3 squares will be dark green, light green, and dark green. So 1 of each in that order. So we've got dark green, light green, and then go back to the dark green. And leave that dark green behind. Bring up the blue. We need 2 blue and a light green at the end, and that's going to finish this off. And that's what row 13 looks like. All right, so row 14, we're bringing in the red. We're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting out with the green. And then we need our blue. And we need 2 blue. So there's 1. And 2. And then we need a dark green. So 1 dark green and 2 light green. We're leaving that dark green behind. We're not going to need that anymore in this row. So now I need 2 light green in here. All right, and now we need our, all right, so there are 3 different colors of red. We have a bright red, a regular red, and a dark red. We call a cherry red, which it's a darker color. So we're going to the medium red, the middle color of red. So there, I forgot to tell you the colors that's in this thing. Yeah, so this red is like the medium red. So we're going to put, we need to put 2 of these in there. And then we can leave that red behind. And then we need to go to blue. So switching over to blue, we are going to need 5 blue and a green and that light green, and that will finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 4, and 5. And then switching over to our green and finishing off the row. And that is what row 14 looks like. So we've started in with the flower a little bit. Let's mark off 13 and 14. Alright, so let's chain 2 and turn. We're starting off with our light green again. And then we need to switch over to our blue. And we're going to put 4 blue in here next. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then we're going to switch over to this red that we have in here. And we need two of this medium red. I'm dealing with a brand new skein over here. It's throwing me off. Alright, so we need 2 of these, I said, right? Alright, now we need the bright red. It's a little bit lighter than that red there. So it's like a bright red. So we're going to put 1 bright red in. And then we're going to switch over to our medium red. I'm going to leave that bright red behind. And we're just going to put 1 of the medium red in. Alright, so we're done with that. And then we're going to put 1 light green in. And then we need to put in this dark green. And we just need 1 dark green here. Leave that behind. So we are needing our blue. And we need 3 blue and a light green at the end, and that's going to finish off. row 15. And you should have 15 squares at the end of this row. And there's row 15 and what it looks like. Alright, so far so good. Let's mark off row 15. And go on to row 16. So chain 2 and turn. And we'll start out with our light green like usual. And switching over to blue. And we need to put 3 blue in next. Alright, and then we need to switch over to our dark green. And we need 1 dark green. And that goes over there. And then we need to go back to our light green. And then we need 1 light green. We're not going to need that dark green anymore, so we're just going to leave it there. Alright, so we're switching over to our medium red. And we need 1 medium red, and then we need to switch over to our bright red right after that. And now we need 3 bright red. So there's 1. Two, and 3. And then we're going to leave that behind and go to our dark red and put, or not dark red, medium red, and put 1 of those in. And then we need to switch over to our blue. And we need 4 blue and a light green at the end, and that should finish off this row. And there you have it. So that is row 16, and that's what it's supposed to look like. Let's mark it off. We're almost done with that leaf. Oh, there's 3 leaves on this thing. Okay. Alright, so we're going to chain 2 and turn. And starting out with the light green in our first square, going over to blue. We need 4 blue in row 17. So there's 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to switch over to our medium red. And we need 1 medium red. And switching over to the bright red, which is our lighter red. We need 4 light reds. But let's bring this medium red with us, as we're going to need that later. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. Leaving that behind, we need our light green now. So 1 light green, and then 1 medium red. And then we need to switch over to blue. And we need 4 blue and a light green, and then we are done with this row. And we're also done with a couple of colors that we're going to cut off. Or 1 color, not 2. So there's 3. And this is 4. And then we need our light green. And that is up here at the top. Alright. That is what row 17 looks like. We are done with this dark green. So we're going to cut it off. We will need that later though. So keep it handy. And also, we need to mark off that row. What do I do with the marker? There it is. Alright, row 18 is next. Chain 2 and turn. And we are starting off with our light green as usual, and then switching over to our blue, and we need 4 blue. So there's 1. 2, 3, 4. Oh, there was 4. Alright. Alright, now we need our dark, not our dark, our medium red. And we need 3 of those. Alright, so there's 1. 2. And 3. Now we're going to be switching over to our bright red, which is the light red. And we need 4 of them. Yes. So there's 1. We're carrying that medium red with us because we're going to need that after these 4. So there's 3 and this is 4. Leaving that behind, bringing up this dark red, I mean medium red. Putting 1 in there, and then we need to switch over to our blue, and 4 blue and a light green should finish off this row. So there's 2, 3, 4. So there's row 18 and what it should look like. You see that. Marking that row off. And 19, chain 2 and turn for row 19. Starting out with our light green and switching over to our blue, we need 5 blue, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we need our medium red. And we need 1 medium red. Well, the next 3 stitches, or the next 3 blocks, is going to be medium red, bright red, and medium red. So there's medium. All right, so it's medium, bright, and medium in these first 3 red squares. And then we're going back to the bright, and we need 2 bright squares. And then 1 medium square red, 1 medium red square, while these last 3 is going to be medium, bright, and medium. 1 of each. Leave the bright behind and put in the medium. And then leave that behind. Alright, so to finish off row 19, we need 4 blue and 1 light green. So there's 3, And that is 4. And there we go. So that is row 19. 19 is finished. And then we're going to work on row 20 next. So chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start the first square off with the light green. And then we need to switch over to our blue. Or whatever background color you're using. We need 4 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we need our medium red next. And it is 1 medium red. And then switching over to our bright red. We need 2 bright red in here. Alright, and after the 2 bright red, we're going back to the medium red. And we need 1 medium red. And then switching back to the bright red, we need 4 bright red. So there's 2, 3, nuts. And then we're going to switch back over to the medium red to finish off the flower, but leaving that bright red behind. And then we need to switch over to the blue. Just 1 medium red next, then blue. And we need 5 blue and a light green, and that will finish off row 20. So there's 3, 4, 5, and then our light green at the end. And that is what row 20 is, what it looks like so far for 20 rows. And you should have 20 squares. 2. Now we need to switch this paper around so I can get row 21. All right, row 21. Chain 2 and turn. We'll start our square in that second chain from the hook. And then switching over to our blue, we need 4 blue, so there's 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to bring in a yellow. And we need 1 yellow here. And then we're going to go back to our blue. But that yellow stays there. And then we need 1 blue next. And then we need our medium red. And we need 1 medium red. So it's going to be medium, bright, medium, bright, medium in the next 5. So there's the medium. We're switching back and forth for the next 5 squares. Starting with the medium, then going to the bright red, and then going back to the medium. And then back to the bright red. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need the medium red again. And then 2 bright reds. No, 3 bright, actually. So 3 bright red and a medium red at the end of this flower. Wait a minute. I'm going to leave that bright red behind before I don't want to carry that over there. Leave it there. There we go. Now leave the medium red behind, and we need 4 blue and a light green at the end, and that will finish off row 21. And there is 21 rows and what it looks like. Alright, so let's mark that off. So row 22, we're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start our square here, our green one, and switch over to the blue. Hang on a minute. We are needing 4 blue. How did I do that? So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we need our medium red. And we need 1 medium red. And then we need our dark, or our bright red. And we need 4 of those. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we need to go back to the medium red and put 2 medium red in. So there's one, and two, and then back to the bright red. And that is the end of the medium red, so we're leaving that behind. And we're putting two bright red in next. And that's the end of the bright red too. Now I need to bring the yellow over here. So we are needing 3 yellow. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need to switch over to our blue. Goodness. And we need 4 blue and a light green. Hang on a minute. Yep. All right, we did that right. Wait a minute. Yeah. We need to bring this light green with us still. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then our light green at the end here. Alright. Alright, so row 23. We're going to chain 2 and turn. Start our green square. And go to blue. And we need 5 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to switch over to yellow. We need 3 yellow. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then leaving that yellow behind there, we are going to need the bright red. And we need 1 bright red. And then our medium red, we're switching over to the medium one. We need 2 medium red. And then another bright red. So 1 bright red, 1 medium red. And then 2 bright red and 1 medium red. There's 1. And 2. Leaving that bright red behind. We're going to put a medium red here. And then after that, we're switching over to our blue. And we need 5 blue and a light green to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so there is row 23. I'll mark that off. Row 24. All right, chaining 2 and turning, and starting out with the light green. Switching over to blue. We need 5 blue next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we have the 2 medium reds. So there's 1, and 2. And then we need bright red. We need 2 of those. So there's 1, and 2. And then we go back to the medium red. And we're going to put 2 medium red in again. One, and 2. Now we are going to bring in a darker red, more like a burgundy, but I'm going to call this dark red. We are done with that bright red, so the bright red can stay. So we need 1 dark red in here. And then we need a yellow. So we're going to switch over to the yellow. Hang on a minute. First of all, we don't need this dark red anymore, so we're going to leave it behind. We need 2 yellow in here. So there's 1, and 2. And then we need our medium red, and we're going to put 2 medium red in next. All right, and then we're going to switch over to blue, and we are going to need 6 blue and a light green, and that's going to finish off row 24. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 6 if I can get it in there. And then we're going to switch over to our light green. And now I'll finish off the row. Alright, and then row 24 is done. Now we're going to do row 25, chain 2 and turn. And starting out with the green. And as our first block, and then turning into blue. We need 2 blue. Nope, sorry, we need 6 blue. Alright, so there's 1. And 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Alright. Now we're going to switch over to our medium red. And we need 1 medium red here. So these 3 stitches will be medium, bright, medium. So let's bring our bright red up here. So there's the medium, the bright, and a medium. And then we need our yellow. We need 2 yellow next. So there's 1. 2, and then we need our dark red next. Hang on a minute. But we are leaving that yellow behind here. Bring in the dark red. So we need one dark red right here. And then we need our, that dark red stays there. We need our medium red next. And we need one medium. Oh. And then one bright. And then go back to the medium. We're leaving that bright behind. We need 3 medium next. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need to bring back in our dark green. Leaving this red behind now. We just have the greens and the blue with us now. We need 3 dark greens in here. And then leaving that behind and switching over to the blue. We need 3 blue and a light green, and that's going to finish off row 25. And also in row 25, you should have 25 squares. Alright, and this is half of our diamond finished and what it should look like. Alright. We'll mark that off. We are, so we just finished half the diamond. When we come back tomorrow, we're going to start decreasing on both ends, and we will start row 26. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye now.